Hello everyone, my name is Jackie and today I want to talk to you about the books I pre-ordered for next year. So not all of them are new releases since for a lot of books I prefer to buy paperbacks instead of hardcovers, so I have to wait a little bit longer. So a few of them are actually already out, but I'm still waiting for the paperback which will be released next year, so I'm going to talk about them and tell you when they will be released. So the first book is The Conference of Birds by Ransom Riggs, which is the fifth book in the Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children series, and it will be released on the 12th of January. And Miss Peregrine's Peculiar Children is about a group of children who have either some special abilities or are special in some kind of way. For example, one of them is invisible. And another girl floats if she doesn't wear very heavy boots that make her stay on the ground. And yeah, those books are really exciting because they are written around old photographs, which look really creepy from time to time. And it was initially a trilogy, but then Ransom Riggs started to release a second trilogy right afterwards. So this is the fifth book, and yeah, I pre-ordered that. Then on the 14th of January, Tales from the Hinterland by Melissa Albert will be released. This is a collection of fairy tales set in the world from the book The Hazelwood. On the 19th of January, A Woe So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Camera will be released. This is the third and final book in the Cursebreaker trilogy, the first book being A Curse So Dark and Lonely. And it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, the first book following a girl who lives in our world and one day gets kidnapped and brought into this fairy tale world where she meets a prince who is cursed, and she has to fall in love with him for the curse to be broken, just like in the fairy tale. And on the 26th of January, Written in Starlight by Isabel Ibanez will be released, which is the second book to Woven in Moonlight. Woven in Moonlight was about a girl who is the decoy to the Contessa of the country, and a conquering king wants to marry the Contessa, so she as the decoy gets sent to the palace. On the 2nd of February, Bone Criers Dawn by Catherine Purdy gets released. This is the second book to Bone Criers Moon, which is about two girls who are bone criers. And that means they are responsible for ferrying the dead souls either to heaven or to the underworld, but they can only do that after killing their soulmate. And it's also about a boy whose father was killed by a bone crier, so he wants to kill all of them. And I really enjoyed the first one, so I can't wait for the second one. On the 16th of February, A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas is released. This is the next book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but this time we follow Nesta and Cassian. That's all I know about it, all I need to know about it. I already ordered it, I can't wait for it, it's one of my absolutely favorite series. The only thing I have to say is I really don't like the new covers. But apart from that, can't wait for it. On the 2nd of March, the paperback for House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas gets released, and since that's another one of my favorite series, books, whatever, I ordered the paperback too, although I already have a copy of it. And House of Earth and Blood is about Bryce, who is half fae, half human, living in a world where fae and vampires and shifters and whatever you can think of are in power, and humans are kind of low. And some mysterious murders start to happen, and she has to team up with Hunter the Angel to find the demon who is killing people. As Far as You'll Take Me by Phil Stamper will be released on the 11th of March, and this is about Marty, who arrives in London to start his new life, where he's no longer closeted or shy, and he is free to explore his sexuality without his parents' disapproval. And from the outside, Marty's life looks perfect. He's made new friends, he's getting closer with his first ever boyfriend, and he's traveling around Europe. But he can't really keep up the facade. He hasn't spoken to his parents since he arrived, he barely has any money left, he's homesick and has anxiety, which gets worse and worse, and he still hasn't landed the job of his dreams. Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez will also be released on the 11th of March. And this is about a bisexual girl who gives anonymous love advice to her school friends. And she's hired by the hot new kid to help him get his ex back. On the 18th of March, Hot British Boyfriend by Christy Boyce is released. This is about Ellie, who gets rejected by her crush, so she flees the country and joins this girl's study abroad trip to England, where she's trying to rebuild her confidence by getting a hot British boyfriend. So when she meets Mel, who is gorgeous and charming, she doesn't want to make the same mistakes she did last time, so she strikes up a bargain with her classmate Dev, who is going to help her win over her crush, and then she'll help him win over his. But she still needs to figure out if this is actually the answer to all her problems, and whether the perfect boyfriend is actually the perfect boy for her. And I immediately knew I had to have this book once when I saw the cover, because it's just so cute and adorable. On the same day, More Than Just a Pretty Face by Syed Massoud will also be released, which is about Daniel, who isn't really the smartest guy in the room, but he's funny, gorgeous, and he will make a great chef one day. But the only opinion to him that matters is that of his longtime crush and her family. But they consider him not really ideal for an arranged marriage. So he decides to try and show everyone that he's smarter than they think, and he recruits their brilliant and totally uninterested in him Bisma to help him win the competition. But the more time they spend together, the more he realizes that maybe his happiness might be staring him right in his pretty face. On the 30th of March, Rule of Wolves by Lee Bardugo will be released, which is the second book in the Nikolai duology. The first one followed Nikolai after the defeat of the Darkling and the happenings on Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Also on the 30th of March will be released We Are Totally Normal by Rahul Kanakia, which is about Nandan, who has a perfect plan for junior year, but that goes alright when he hooks up with a guy. Especially if that guy is his best friend, Dave. And especially because Nandan has never been into boys. But he's willing to give a relationship with him a shot. But his anxiety grows about what his sexuality means for himself and his friends and his social life. And he starts to wonder if he can take it all just back. But is breaking up with Dave the only person who's ever really gotten him worth feeling normal again? On the 6th of April, the paperback for Again But Better by Christine Ritchie will be released, which is about Shane, who has been doing college all wrong. Pre-med, stellar grades, and happy parents. Sounds ideal, but she doesn't have any friends, goes home every weekend, and doesn't have any romance in her life. So she decides she needs a new start and signs up for a semester abroad in London, where she's going to write all her college mistakes. She makes friends, pursues boys, and finds adventure. Or that's the plan at least. But when self-doubt sneaks in, her new life starts to fall apart. And this paperback edition, firstly, it's pink instead of blue, and it also has a bonus scene included. On the 13th of April, Victor's Greater Than Death by Charlie Jane Anders will be released, and it's described as Star Wars meets Doctor Who, which sounds amazing. It's about Tina, who has always known her destiny is outside the norm because she is a human clone of the most brilliant alien commander in all the galaxies. Even if the rest of the world is still deciding whether aliens exist. But she's tired of waiting for her life to begin. And then it does, and maybe Tina should have been more prepared. At least she has a crew around her that she can trust and her best friend at her side. Now they just have to save the world. On the 20th of April, Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli will be released. That's all I needed to know to buy this book, because Becky Albertalli is one of my favorite authors. But still, I have a synopsis for you. So it's about best friends Kate and Anderson who are not codependent. Carpooling? That's just efficient. Consulting each other on every single life decision? Good judgment. Pining for the same guys from afar? Shared crushes are more fun anyway. But then their latest long-distance crush shows up at the school and everything goes off script. Because Matt is talented and sweet and Kate really likes him. But so does Anderson. On the 27th of April, The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks by Mackenzie Lee is released, which is the last book in the Montague siblings series. And this time we follow Adrian, the youngest of the three siblings, who doesn't even know that he has other siblings. He desperately wants to be free. He doesn't want to inherit his father's estate. And one day during his engagement party, the public learns about Adrian's worst fear, that he might not be fit to run the Montague estate. So he is given the opportunity to avoid the impending scandal by a trip to the Caribbean to claim the last of his mother's possessions. Along the way, he discovers that he has 2 older siblings and tries to find them and hopefully convince Monty to take over the estate. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. I'm really excited that we get to see more of Monty and hopefully Felicity and Percy too. But yeah, I've been waiting for this book. It was supposed to be released this year and I had already pre-ordered it, and then it got pushed back. So. But I'm really excited that I will finally be able to read it. On the 4th of May, Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney will be released. This is about Quinn, who keeps a list of everything. And one day her journal goes missing and an anonymous account posts one of her lists on Instagram for the whole school to see and blackmails her into facing 7 of her greatest fears, or else the entire journal will go public. So Quinn doesn't know who to trust and she teams up with Carter Bennett, the last person known to have her journal and who she loves. And they try to track down the blackmailer. On the 11th of May, The Fascinators by Andrew Eliopoulos will be released, and this is about a group of friends living in a small town where magic is frowned upon. Sam needs his friends, James and Delia, and their time in their school's magic club to see him through graduation. But when senior year starts, little cracks in their group begin to show. Sam may or may not be in love with James, Delia is growing more frustrated with the amateur magic club, and James reveals that he got mixed up with some sketchy magicers over the summer, putting a target on all their backs. With so much threatening his hopes for this year, Sam is forced to face the fact that the very love of magic that brought his group together is now tearing them apart, and there are some problems that no amount of magic can fix. On the 30th of May, Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman will be released. The series follows Nick and Charlie. Charlie is openly gay and Nick starts to question his sexuality, and it follows their relationship, and I absolutely adore this book. And on the 18th of May, I Cast Alice by Anna Birch will be released, which is about Rhodes and Ileana, who couldn't be more different, but that's not the reason they hate each other. Rhodes is a gifted artist, while Ileana is a transfer student, and they both want the capstone scholarship, and the competition between them is fierce. So they both escape the pressure on a fanfic site where they are unknowingly collaborating on a webcomic. And despite being worst enemies in real life, their anonymous online identities I Cast Alice and Criers in Cheshire are starting to like each other a lot. When the truth comes out, will they destroy each other's future? On the 1st of June, The Girl from the Sea by Molly Ostatek will be released. It's about 15-year-old Morgan who can't wait to escape the perfect little island where she lives. She has a lot of secrets, and her biggest is that she wants to kiss another girl. One night she's saved from drowning by a mysterious girl named Kelty, and the two become fast friends, and suddenly life on the island. Also on the 1st of June will be released The Crow Rider by Caitlin Josephson, which is the sequel to The Storm Crew, which is about a kingdom who was conquered by an army and all their crows were killed. They have magical crows that are big enough that you can ride on them. And the princess is forced to marry the prince of that conquering kingdom. And also on the 1st of June will be released A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, which is about Tavia, who must hide her siren powers, and Effie, who is fighting her own family struggles. And together, these two friends must navigate through the perils of high school's junior year. But everything changes in the aftermath of a siren murder trial that rocks the nation, and Tavia accidentally lets out her magical voice at the worst possible moment. Soon, nothing in Portland, Oregon seems safe. To save themselves from drowning, it's only Tavia and Effie's unbreakable sisterhood that proves to be the strongest magic of all. On the 2nd of June, If It Makes You Happy by Claire Cann will be released. This is about Winnie, who is living her best fat girl life. She is working in her granny's diner in the small town of Misty Haven. With her family and un-girlfriend at her side, she has everything she needs for one last perfect summer before starting college in the fall. Until she becomes Misty Haven's summer queen in the highly anticipated matchmaking tradition that she wants absolutely nothing to do with. Newly crowned, Winnie is forced to take center stage in photo shoots and a never-ending list of community royal engagements. Almost immediately, she discovers that she's deathly afraid of it all. The spotlight, the obligations, and the way her merry haven summer king wears his heart, humor, and honesty on his sleeves. Stripped of Goldine's protective bubble, to salvage her summer, Winnie must conquer her fears, defy expectations, and be the best Winnie she knows she can be, regardless of what anyone else. On the 8th of June, a love-hate thing by Whitney D. Grandison will be released, which is about Tyson Criers, who finds himself tossed into the wealthy coastal community of Pacific Hills. He's ready for the questions, the stares, and the feeling of not belonging, not that he cares. After recovering from being shot and surviving the rough streets of Lindenwood, he doesn't care about anyone or anything, much less how the rest of his life will play out. Golden Girl Nandy Smith has spent most of her life building the pristine image that it takes to fit in when it comes to her hometown Pacific Hills, where image is everything. After learning that her parents are taking in a troubled teen boy, Nandy fears her summer plans as well as her reputation will go up in flames. Now with Criers living under the same roof, the wall between their bedrooms feels as thin as the line between love and hate. Beneath the angst, their growing attraction won't be denied. Through time, Criers brings Nandy out of her shell, and Nandy attempts to melt the ice that's taken Criers' heart and being. With the ever-present pull back to the Lindenwood streets, it will be a wonder if Criers makes it through the summer at all. On the 10th of June, The Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu will be released, which is the second book in the Eldest Curses series. I haven't read the first one yet, but this series follows Alec and Magnus. On the 15th of June, Broken Web by Laurie M. Lee will be released. This is the sequel to Forest of Souls. This is about Saoirse, who, when her best friend gets killed in front of her, somehow brings her back to life. So it's discovered that she is a soul guide, and the Spider King calls her to him for help because he has lost control over the dead wood, and only a soul guide can help. On the 1st of July, Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell will be released, and this is the third and final book in the Simon Snow series. The first one, Carry On, is about Simon Snow, who is the chosen one, and it's about Bess, who is his not enemy but rival, nemesis, whatever, and it just plays with all this chosen one tropes, and it reads like a fan fiction. It reminds a lot about Harry Potter, and it's just so amazing. I absolutely adore them, and yeah, this is the final book, so I can't wait for that one. And the last book on my list will be released on the 6th of July and is The Rise of Kyoshi by F.C. Yee. This delves into the story of Kyoshi, an Earth Kingdom born avatar who is the longest living avatar in this world's history. She established the respected Kyoshi warriors, but also founded the secretive Dai Li, which led to the corruption, decline, and fall of her own nation. The first two novels so this is the first novel, and this and the second one tell her journey from her humble origins to the merciless pursuit of justice, who is still feared and admired centuries after she became the Avatar. Alright, those are all the books I pre-ordered. If you've read any of them that have already been released and another format than I ordered, let me know down below what you thought, but please no spoilers. If there are any you are excited for, let me know down below too. I would love to talk to you about them. But that's it for this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!